This is Kraka. Kraka is a hag, a sort of magical fey creature of immense power, feared across the realms. Giving it a quick etymological glance, there is no official scientific name for a hag, meaning it's fair game to do so here. There are two potential options for names we can go with, either the Latin word for witch or sorceress, venefica, or their word for an old woman, anus. So join me as we explore the strange world of the anus. Kraka is fairly typical in appearance for a hag. She has the clawed fingers and the sharp teeth. I think the crescent moon is sort of a magical bit. Other than that, though, she's nothing like a typical hag appearance-wise. I lied to you, and you fell for it. Not a boil or wrinkle to be seen. Seriously, she could be considered conventionally very attractive, very unlike her contemporaries. What type of hag is she really? She describes herself as a mossy bird hag. The moss may suggest she's a green hag, the most common type in the physical world. They make their homes in swamps and marshlands. This means you can find a remarkably high number of them in Florida. That makes a horrifying amount of sense, actually. Another thing of note about green hags that might give some insight to Kraka's appearance is that they are noted for being the least physically opposing of all hag types. Many monster hunters denote their resemblance to humans makes them less imposing and more unnerving. Let me repeat that. Expert monster hunters have gone on record claiming green hags resemble humans. So much so that they could be confused for human crones, to the point that glamours and other magical disguises are unnecessary. To that I say, what the fuck are you whack jobs smoking? This looks like an old woman to you? Are you blind, deaf, and lack the ability to smell? Was your grandmother a sleep paralysis demon? I mean, holy this is not an old woman, this is an excuse to slice Florida off the country! In the Vtuber world, a hag is technically defined as any woman over the age of 30 with no children. Sort of like how wizards are technically defined as any man who hasn't had sex by the time he's 30. I don't know what's up with the number 30. Either the people who made these rules were living back in the really old days, where if you lived past 2, your chances of reaching adulthood tripled. That or they're Mormons, where an 18-year-old could be referred to as an elder. This isn't meant to mock anyone's beliefs, I'm just saying. Elder feels like a title that requires a bit more wisdom and world-weariness than an 18-year-old. You should be at least old enough to rent a car. Kraka is the sort of green hag who takes joy in creating differing simulacrum forms, commonly known as adoptables. These are not always models for her own usage, but rather something to offer interested third parties. This tells us she specializes in deals that offer the other person a new look. Deals from any sort of hag are dicey at best, but green hags are especially conniving in their interactions with mortal creatures. And indeed, deals are a major part of what green hags do to spend their days. They're surprisingly tolerant of non-fey creatures, by hag standards. Of course, that's like saying a non-arachnophobic person is more tolerant of spiders than an arachnophobe. No matter how nice they treat the spider, it's not like they'll treat them as a person. With a hag, at best you're a pet. At worst, you're something to be killed. But Kraka has more than just these hollowed-out bodies to magically offer foolish passerbys. She also has her magical animal companions, Dre the Raven and Bon the Squid. Researchers aren't entirely certain what these two are even meant to do for her. The leading theory is that they function like an emotional support animal, but in the opposite fashion. An emotional distress animal, so to speak. But she certainly cares deeply for these two little entrees, so who are we to judge? Anyways, always remember, if you ever hear cackling in the mossy forests late at night with the will-o-wisps lighting a path, follow them. You'll probably find a very enthusiastic and happy hag at the end, and who doesn't love a good chuckle? Trust me, curious children get the best of treats.